this is why I kind of like to bring in sports element, even if you're not an actual elite athlete, a professional athlete, whether that was your career and you've now moved into a more sort of business orientated field, or you just, I know with a lot of the clients I have who are high performers, they do like to take part in sport at somewhat of a competitive level, and they like to enjoy training, and physical fitness is really important to them. And this is why I like to bring in things. So nutrition is going to play a really big part. So in terms of performance, when you're playing a sport, even though you're not doing it at a professional level, but you're also expected to perform at a high level in your career, say before you retire. So that could be any time between 40 and say 65, give or take. How does that work in terms of crossover? How could you use maybe sports nutrition as an added extra to get you performing better in both, I guess?
I think what we see with sports nutrition is we see the extremes that the body can do. So we learn a lot from sports nutrition and how that impacts performance. I think also the things that we learn about the importance of planning and structure to the diet apply to people across the field if they want to perform to the best of their ability.
And what happens with the body? As you get older, obviously there's lots of changes within the body. We know, if particularly if you're not physically very fit, obviously the declines in muscle quality, and obviously the way that organs function within the body is going to change, hormonal changes. So in terms of that, how can your nutrition, what you're eating in a sense, improve? How would that work?
I think always important, but particularly as we age, we need to focus on three main things. That's bone health, muscle strength and muscle quality, and also the immune system. So certainly bone health, we need to ensure that we're doing weight-bearing exercise and consuming enough calcium to keep the bones strong. As after the age of 40, we don't, the muscles metabolize in a different way. They become less active. So what we know is that the impact of strength exercise and eating protein has less of an effect as we get older. Therefore, more is needed. So it's really important that bone and muscle strength are kept so that it prevents us from being frail when we're older. I think you mentioned muscle quality as well. So muscle quality, there's a lot of research going into at the moment, and the link between muscle quality and our risk of becoming insulin resistant, and potentially then going on to becoming diabetic. So that's making sure that we keep ourselves strong, so the bone health and the muscle strength, as well as muscle quality. But then also the third thing being ensuring the body doesn't get inflamed, so controlling inflammation in the body, because inflammation is the root cause of most chronic diseases and cancers.
Absolutely. I mean, I've been doing a little bit of research myself, and going back to that point you made about muscle quality and how important, particularly as we get older, and talking about the way the muscles help in terms of energy, not just in how glucose uptake, but also the way oxygen is transported and how the body uses that for energy. But also it's interesting you mentioned about protein, because as you said, there is so much evidence coming out now that actually you need more protein as you get older, not less, and the quality of protein you get as well. I don't know what, I would love to find out your thoughts on, because obviously with there's a sort of big push now to go more vegan diet, and maybe different types of protein. But I always wonder, vegan is a very specific thing. Is maybe going for these, I don't know, more processed, what do you call them? Fake meat, if you like.
Meat replacement products.
Yeah. How does that kind of change with the vegan diet, and again as you're getting older, because your body is changing so much?
So the number one most important thing is that a person is consuming enough protein. If it's okay, I'll just talk about that for a second, and then
sure, definitely.
I'll move on to protein within a vegan diet. So we know there's a lot of research showing that over the age of 40, protein requirements increase. And certainly as the decades move on, 50s, 60s, 70s, we should be aiming to have about 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight a day to maintain our muscle mass.